the ways in which Christendom and sort of theology specifically positioned Black people to be enslaved and then justified it with scripture, that had to be about exploitation and was not of God. And that in our work to sort of do the work of justice, we would have to have an analysis of racism, exploitation, anti-oppressive, and particularly the ways in which our society either allowed it to advance or didn't speak to it at all. And our theology was not a place for us to escape, but actually to do justice work and to really be grounded in that. But you couldn't do that without challenging white supremacy culture, particularly in the US context, as the Bible was used as a form and a mechanism of social control for Black people and led to their exploitation and the commodification of Black bodies in this work. And lastly, Paul Tillich talked a lot about the need for power and love to coexist. And what he offered was that when we do love well, it actually creates the condition to help us sort of reunite, to be unified, that is what has been separated. And that he understood oppression as one of the great dividers, and that a part of our work then to sort of restore ourselves would need to be bringing love and power back to one another so that we can actually create the conditions for greater social change and beyond that. And more importantly, to pull all of us back from the brink of isolation, which he sees as the dominant and not only the dominant function of oppression, but the outcome oppression, which is the separation of the bifurcation and the keep splitting into the more granular pieces without being able to see the big picture or the whole. And so what does that all mean for me in my work? So for me, what I got clear about is that we needed a definition of love that actually gave an account for power and the ways in which power was used often as an instrument of manipulation. And so the fact that when I thought about love, the first thing that came to my mind was Disney fairy tales. The fact that Ariel and, I wanted to be her back in the day, wanted to Prince Eric. And the fact that when I thought about love, I didn't think about Dr. King's organizing. I didn't think about the work that folks of color, Indigenous folks had been doing the work of love as a practice for many, many generations. I couldn't come up with any examples, but I could of Ariel and Bella from Twilight. I had all of these examples of love as this normal, anemic, everyday notion of love. And then that was demonstration enough that the fact that the way in which we're socialized to understand love was acting not just as it wasn't innocent. It actually was functioning like a dominant narrative, so much so that it would obscure any work or any body of work that dealt with love in a broader systemic context. It would allow for the proliferation of those narratives about Eric and Bella and all of these torrid love romances, but it wouldn't center sort of Black Lives Matter movement. It wouldn't center the work of the water workers who were preserving water and protecting the earth, because those folks, those different conditions for understanding love as a broader social political context was too dangerous. And so we'd rather have individual stuff, romance, but not folks who had already been organizing, doing labor work to make society better on all our behalves. And what I meant by that is that if we didn't examine deeply love, we actually begin to allow it to operate as a form of oppression. We allow the beliefs and values of colonization, patriarchy, white supremacy, racism, heterosexism, et cetera, to be embedded and go unquestioned in this broader framework of love. And that is a disservice to all of us.